What's going on, y'all? It's your girl, Maya Desire, and we are back. We're back with the what is it? The 6, 7, 8 of Bel-Air streaming on Peacock. The hit, the series. This is it. This is the final season. So we're gonna go ahead and introduce ourselves over here. I got
Denny C23. Oh,
No,
actually, I'm Denny C23.
clearly,
He didn't want to
yes,
talk. All right, he's
that
acting
clearly.
was
scared.
you.
He's acting scared. He don't want to talk.
He
Nah,
was
you threw
he
me
was.
off because
I
you usually
know.
point at Denny first. That's why I was like,
I
wait.
know, I know, I know. You
Yeah,
got to be
what
ready
about
for
that?
anything. You feel me? You got to be ready for anything. No, I'm joking. Listen, we are
Yeah.
so happy that you stuck it out. You rock with us. We are here to bring you the final episodes of Bel Air as it comes to a close. Before we start, just want to say congratulations to the entire cast for an amazing 4 seasons of a reimagined French Prince of Bel Air. Um, I mean, I'm gonna just go off the dome real quick and just ask Denny, what are your final thoughts like before we get into it?
Final thoughts. I feel like watching everything come full circle. I guess I could let my head down a little bit. I was like, all right, great. You know, I'm glad that the ending ended the way that I didn't expect. Honestly, it ended a lot more happy than I thought it would, which is I'm very happy for. The
Okay.
full season though, I'm not gonna lie. Y'all seen me. I was up and down. I wasn't really feeling these people. Trusting Uncle Phil and all that. Yeah, I ain't trust his plan. But it worked out. So I guess it's good.
It worked out. Niche, what about you?
Honestly, I think it was a great way how they did their own adaptation of Fresh Prince of Bel Air and how they wrapped up things. And we have Will going back home. I think that was kind of like a full circle moment for him, definitely. And then I think Carlton also having that moment of really finding himself and doing what it is that he wants to do and not doing things because he feels like, oh, this is what my family wants and I have to uphold everyone else by going here. So I loved it.
Yeah.
I think it was great. Yeah.
I think that it's definitely it was a great season. It was a great season and I'm sad to see it go. But they did an amazing job, and for us obviously who have seen the original, grew up on the original, it was never supposed to be like the original, but it was always supposed to be um a nod, right? It was supposed to
Right.
give that honor back to the originality of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So let's just dive into it. So we left off on Viv. We weren't sure what was happening with the baby. Mad scared. I know I was for sure. And then we're gonna do all the episodes together. So just follow us, But um yeah, Hilary is back, right? And everybody has band together to make sure that Aunt Viv is good, that she's taken care of. So we see Phil stepping up, Carlton, Will, Ashley. Again, like I said, the band is back together, right? So it's a
Right.
great moment to see the family because I know we were trying to figure out like were we going to see Hilary? How many episodes was she going to be in? Considering that she had went back to Puerto Rico. So
It's Costa
this is
Rica.
Costa Rica.
All right.
I'm trying to get out of here. It's cold. All right. So put me anywhere that's not here in Baltimore because it's definitely cold. Um, so full circle moments in terms of school, right? Because I called it. I said that Carlton was not gonna go to Princeton,
Mhm.
right? I'm gonna go over to you, Meech. Like, what was your thoughts when you saw that Carlton is like,
I loved it.
yeah,
I loved it. Honestly, I loved it. I was hoping that he was not gonna go to Princeton. I was calling the HBCU as well. So to see that he did choose one, Morehouse, the prestigiousness of the school and just everything of the sort of in terms of the HBCU. So I definitely loved it. That was an amazing moment. I love that he did not just force himself to go to Princeton.
absolutely, Denny,
You
Carlton
know how I
hater,
feel. Listen, I'm
aka
not a
Carlton
Carlton hater,
hater.
man. I call it like I
Mm,
see it. All right.
mm.
And Carlton is trash because he went through all this to get accepted just to not want to go. once he realized there's going to be more of what you're already used to. So you should have did that soul searching a little sooner before you, and then you didn't even correct the lie. You know what I mean? So I'm indifferent. But him going to Morehouse, I do support that. I do love that. I do feel like it's an opportunity for him to interact with his culture more and gain more self-knowledge, So
Okay.
I guess we could leave it there because I'm gonna save it.
Yeah, hater. So I think
Hater.
that we have to remember, and I will say that to myself. I have to remember these are teenagers, right? And like you're constantly reinventing yourself, constantly getting to know who you are. You don't know who you are until you hit your 30s. Like, let's be honest, right? So them going through these stages of like really figuring life out is what you do in high school. Like, you're figuring it out. So we see them doing all
Loyalty is
the.
learned before 30.
You said what?
Loyalty is learned way before 30.
I didn't say loyalty. That's not what I was talking about. So I don't even understand. Like, I didn't say nothing. I didn't say, Demetri, did you hear me say anything about loyalty? I don't think I said anything about loyalty.
No,
all right, okay. I'm just making
we
sure.
we just talking about who the person's gonna be, right?
Like that's it. That's all I was trying to
Integrity.
get to. But listen, you learn integrity not in high school sometimes. So let's just be real and keep it 100, right? So just I'm not doing this with Denny today. Okay, like let's gonna keep it pushing. So as we saw, the guys were just trying to figure out, who they were gonna be, Carlton and Will, right? Uncle Phil even gives advice about the school dilemma and figuring out what he wants to do. So this is episode 6 where we have those flashbacks. I was actually really happy to see that because you don't know Carlton and Will's relationship and you don't even know them as kids per se. I wish we would have gotten a little more of that actually, but I'll take what I can get. So we have these flashbacks of Carlton struggling with math and Will getting it right. And at some point, Aunt Vi wanting Will to go to Bel-Air Academy way back yonder, and Carlton saying like you won't fit in. And these flashback scenes that we see about Carlton and Will, like what were your thoughts about that, Denny?
My thoughts is Carlton's always been a hater, and you calling me a hater is crazy. Carlton was so discouraged by Will's greatness effortlessly, like that he was trying to discourage him, talking about you won't fit in. But in the same breath, it was like you was only bought your way in. You didn't pass the test. Will pass the test to get in. He would have got in, paid for a scholarship. You had to pay out of pocket. It's crazy. That's how I feel about it. I feel Carlton's always been a hater, and it just showed from that point on. And Will's always had a big heart, and it is what it is.
And we see how you're gonna be the rest of the review. Moving over, Meech, go ahead.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I agree. Like Carlton definitely was giving hater vibes from the fact that he was trying to say that Will wouldn't fit in, and I think the thing that I love that we were able to see is that Will was just naturally gifted. Like he naturally excelled in school. Carlton, he was the one that had to be pushed. I feel like we never really got to see that side of things. Like if we really look at things, we probably thought that Carlton was just, he's just so smart, and Will is kind of the cool, goofy, like, popular guy at school that plays sports. But we see that Will is extremely smart, so much so that he passed the test with flying colors. And like my guy Denny was saying, Uncle Phil had to come and make a sizable donation to get my boy Carlton in.
Yeah, I will agree with both of you. I do think that I would have loved to see a little bit more, right? And that's not to say that Carlton is stupid, right? Math is, everybody has that one subject that they just don't rock with, right? So like math ain't his thing, maybe everything else was, and he's struggling in that particular point, right? I will say one of the things that I want us to look at is what causes children to go into spaces where they feel like they have to constantly compete, even if there's somebody in their families, just friends, right? Because in my head, I'm looking at Carlton as somebody who felt like he was constantly fighting for his parents' level, maybe really Uncle Phil, because I think Aunt Viv did a really good job at just, um, Kendra wish we had more sense with Will and Carlton as kids, and the Will is smart. Yeah, I agree. I do. Like I said, I wish we had more of that. I think that seeing what created Carlton's insecurity would have been helpful, because we know that that's essentially where it stems from, right? Because kids don't just, I mean, kids are naturally like jealous and competitive and things like that. But to this type of level, in terms of telling Will, like, you're not going to fit in and this and the third, was very interesting to see. So, like y'all
And
mentioned, like, go ahead.
Carlton spoke to that later on in the episodes, I believe, when they were like sitting down together talking. He was like, I was
No,
afraid my dad to see something in you that I didn't have in me or something like that. So I guess that's where the insecurity stem for, is like Uncle Phil's approval. Like he's like, I want to
yeah,
be my dad's best thing. I'm his only son. I have to live up to this expectation of what he thought his son would be. So I
yeah.
guess that's really what the basis stem from. But
I mean, that's a real thing for a lot of boys turned into men who are their father's only son, who feel like they do have something to prove when your father is extremely hard on you. So,
but
I
Will didn't even
mean,
have a dad at present.
I
Lou
was
was
about to say
missing.
that. I was just about to say that.
I wasn't talking about Will though. I was talking about Carlton.
I know. I'm saying in comparison, like
I think,
Carlton was throwing shots at Will, while Will didn't even have a father present. So I feel like that was even more cold blooded.
That
yeah,
Hey, listen, I'm not saying that it's not more cold blooded. I'm just stating the facts, right? The fact is that he is his father's only son, and he felt the need to like do all these things for a certain level of approval, while Will, and I think it goes back to when you're accustomed to something, you just do what you got to do. And that was Will, right? Like, my dad is not here. Ain't nothing I can do about that, because he can't control his dad. The only person that we can't control essentially is ourselves.
Right.
So we see those things, right, happening and whatnot. And as y'all stated, Phil made the donation and this, that, and the third to get Carlton in. Um, we see Phil, first of all, Phil is super, as a complex character, right? That you guys are hella worried about what was going on, his plan, and how the family, this, that, and the third.
Right.
Were you surprised to see him walking in and having that conversation with Lisa's dad, in terms of the whole situation with Dom and Geoffrey and things of that nature? Meech, what were your thoughts when you saw that?
I mean, honestly, I think I was surprised. I knew that he said that he had a plan, but I didn't think it was going to be a plan where like he really thought it through, where it's like, hey, I'm trying to set these guys up essentially and get them to pretty much do what I want them to do, of falling into my trap of, hey, now we have all the dirt that we need on you to get the big fish, because they don't want Uncle Phil. No.
Agree. What about you, Denny?
I agree. I feel like when he said he had a plan, that was not the plan I thought he had in mind. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was a
What did you think he had in mind?
I don't know, man. Listen, we seen them go from kidnapping and shooting to who knows, all right? In season one, the drug dealer went missing, all right? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Like, we don't know. So that's not the angle I thought it was gonna take. So I'm glad that he was smart enough to set the whole plan in motion, and it worked out in the long run. Because when I tell you, when Jazz got jammed up, I was like, this plan is stupid. The dumbest plan I ever heard of. Why would they ever do that? Like, why would they, like, Uncle Phil, it's Jazz. This is Will's best friend. Why would you do that?
Mhm.
Eh,
Well, we figure it out, right? I'm not gonna lie, I didn't quite see it going that way, because and totally forgot that Lisa's dad was the DA. So like seeing that kind of like full circle moment of bringing him back in from previous seasons and whatnot, it was really cool to see that he was he had thought it all the way through. Kendra, Uncle Phil was not playing about protecting his family. Absolutely. And I said that, like, they didn't have no faith, right? Well, I'm not gonna say they, I'll say Denny didn't have a lot of faith. But I really feel like when he said it with such like confidence, and like he said that shit like he was not playing games, right? So instantly in my head, this is a man who's been showing up for his family, who's been, you know, leading the family, and men who lead, husbands who lead, fathers who lead, show up in this kind of way. And this is the best outcome, really, because he's protecting himself to say like, yeah, I did these things, but here's why I did them, and here's how you can get what you really ultimately want. So really dope to see that. And as we see full circle, right, we'll just take it to the end, which is him and Geoffrey have it out. They have a little spar match, which I call, because I was like, yo, they're gonna fight. Like, you know what I mean? They ain't fight, but that spar was enough, you know, them punches was real, you know. And you know, in real life, they're actually friends. So they have this chemistry on and off screen, which you can actually see transcend while they're playing in the scene. They have their spar match, and he's telling Geoffrey, like, you believe that? Like, you believe, like, I'm gonna set you up. Like, you know, like, I'm not gonna try to work things out for you. And HJ says she just finished Bel-Air and never cried this. Hey, listen, fam, you know, the onions, okay? The onions was getting us. And instead of Phil wearing the wire, Geoffrey shows up. He's like, you trying to get yourself killed? And then he ends up wearing the wire. And I'm not gonna lie, I was dead scared when Dom was like, yo, strip. Like, because we saw them put the wire on him, right? And he pulled, you know, he takes his shirt off, and he's like, damn, can I finish my drink now? And I'm thinking, like, did they put the wire in his back? Like, where the wire go?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
funny.
I mean, hey, listen, where did y'all think the wire went?
He made
a business decision, right? Yeah, he thought about it and was like, but see, the thing that I like is that it shows how much he knows Dom, where it's like she's already had her eyes on not only Geoffrey, but the entire Banks family. So they needed to make it seem as though, okay, this is like, you're coming in now, you want to, you know, work with us, and now you want to be a part of the syndicate again. I thought you left that life behind you, Geoffrey. Strip. Let me see that. Let me see that. Let me see that skin. Yeah. And he made a business decision of, hey, I'm gonna leave it, and I'm gonna get what it is that I need. Like, with that little,
come on,
what was that, little flash drive?
Yeah, I think it was a flash drive. Yeah. Danny, what you think about that scene?
I think he played it very well. He made me proud. That's the best moment of Geoffrey all season, is making that move. Gosh. I'm not gonna lie. Right. Listen, I told you I call it like I see it. I'm gonna give him his credit when it's due. And that was a smart move to take that wire off, because if he would have got caught with that wire, he would have got clipped.
That would have been done. So
I'm not gonna lie. You thought Geoffrey was gonna get clipped in this before the end of it.
I mean, you know what? I wasn't sure which way it was gonna go, because I felt like he was playing it too close. That was my thing, right? Like, he was playing too close. You didn't know what side of the fence he was really on. So I was like, come on, bro, like, what you doing? HJ said, and what makes me happy is that everyone got a happy ending, especially Geoffrey, because he needed to reunite with his family and being free. Absolutely. I agree with you. So, you know, we see that all the way through. You know, Dom gets locked up. Penelope, I really love that name too, right? Penelope ends up coming back, right? Viv and Phil are extremely happy that this is over with and done. And Penelope mentions that, like, why do we need to go back to London? Like, I'm with you. Why not just stay in Jamaica, right? Like, sand and beach versus London. You know, I don't know. I don't know. But he decides to go back to Jamaica. You know, Penelope said that her and Fred feel like, you know, it feels like home. That's a great ending. I mean, I don't think I saw that coming. And
why did everybody think Geoffrey was gonna get clipped? Like, why is that the thing?
See, Kendra said the same thing.
Said the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, hey, you just don't know. You just don't know.
Come on.
I thought no one
got unalived. No one got unalived in the making of Bel-Air.
All right.
Okay. I'm just saying, like,
I mean, yeah,
People just disappeared, but no one.
Lamarcus can say different. That's not true.
He didn't
this
get
is a fact.
unalived. He was sick.
I mean, but he's no
Bro, he
longer
died.
with
I'm
us.
confused. What?
Nah, he didn't.
Like,
He
what
didn't get. He
semantics?
didn't get. He didn't get clipped. He died of natural causes. That's a
All
difference.
right, all
He didn't
right.
die from violence. He didn't die from a gunshot or a
Okay.
knife stabbing, man. They tried to save his life. He had surgeries and all. They really did their best, but unfortunately, when it's
But
your
did
time,
they though?
they
Because
didn't. They just wanted her to end up with Jazz at the end without having a bad conscience
that's crazy.
of him taking
That's
the dying guy's wife from the altar.
listen. I'm not doing this with you, but since we on Hillary, right? We gonna say Hillary came back. She's on her Wusa, meditation and yoga kick. She's transformed.
Nah,
And
Costa Rica did that nice. I like that fit.
I mean, listen, Costa Rica will do anybody nice as long as you go and you surrender to the country, to the island. AJ said, I believe Geoffrey would not have gotten clipped, even though Phil said he would sell him out. I believe Phil would have had lifetime guilt and surely do by all means to get Geoffrey out. Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
I do think that I think that in my head it was like Geoffrey sacrificing himself for the family. Is probably it's along the lines of what I was thinking, not necessarily like just blaze of glory kind of situation.
This not set it off, man. He not Cleo. This is not how
Hey,
that goes.
listen, I agree. So Hillary is back. She is taking care of her mom. She's telling everybody how Costa Rica helped her and transformed her, and that the grief is still there, but she's just learning to live with it day by day. And this is something we talked about early on in the season, how grief really does just hit people differently, and they deal differently. And one of the things that she learned specifically is that after her mom, sees this rich, fancy doctor, he's like, "Oh, your hands are itching. I'm going to prescribe you some cortisone," right? And they happen to go. I mean, that's mad wild. That's just crazy in itself. Her and Ashley happen to go live, and they're talking about how Aunt Viv, is having these issues and things are going on. Well, actually, no, she went live with Aunt Viv, I think.
No, she went live with Ashley.
With Ashley. Okay. All right. So
they was in the kitchen.
Right. Yeah, in the kitchen. And so they tell her basically she needs to get a liver panel test done, right? And we now know that there was something severely wrong. Did you have an inkling that maybe this is where that whole scene with the doctor and him just saying, "Well, I'm gonna prescribe you this, you'll be fine"? Did you see that leading to this moment with Hilary and Ashley and getting the information medically, Denny?
Low key, I feel like they always try to drive home some type of social message in each of these episodes in some way. So I did kind of expect it once I seen that happen. Once I seen that happen, I was like, all right, maybe they're gonna make reference to this. This is like the beginning of another storyline. But I didn't know how deep it was gonna go. I didn't know they were gonna go on live and do all that to get the info. But I definitely thought they were gonna push getting a second opinion and things like that. They were probably gonna meet with a doctor, not social media. So yeah.
Okay. Mish, what about you? What did you think? What I mean, of course the importance, but like watching that scene like really play out, how did you feel about that?
I like how they drew attention to how a lot of times pregnancies, a lot of Black mothers don't get the care that it is that they need. There's times where they may say that there's pain that is that they may have and they're ignored. So I think that was something that was good to show that social cause and show how important it is by putting that in the show and then putting it in with Aunt Viv of having these kind of slight complications during the pregnancy. So yeah, I think it was definitely bringing awareness and showing what a lot of Black mothers go through during their pregnancies.
Yeah, I agree. It was good to see that. And obviously, like I've had friends who have experienced just going to the doctor, not even necessarily pregnant, but also have had a conversation with friends who had those experiences pregnant, right? Like bleeding out after, and a doctor telling you like certain things are going to be okay and that it's normal when actually it's not. Like actually something is actually actively still happening in there. So I was happy to see that. And then, like you said, there's always some sort of social point that's driven home in all of our shows. Like when you really think about it, you're like, oh, this, just in case you forgot, like, yeah, while we want this to be a beautiful pregnancy, these things also do happen. And
Mhm.
as we see that continue with Aunt Viv, they're prepping to get her a doula. Hilary, of course, suggests a doula and just tells her like, hey, think about having a different kind of birth outside of the hospital, especially after this incident has occurred. So we see OG Aunt Viv come through as the doula, which is like such an amazing. First of all, she looks gorgeous. Like the whole setup was just, it was really beautiful because we know some of the tumultuousness that happened on the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right, when it came to Aunt Viv. So this, seeing her show up was definitely beautiful. Um, so we see that, like the girls are having a girl night, and I'm just going through this storyline, but they having a girl night, and then Aunt Viv goes into labor, and her contractions are so close together.
Hold up, the fact that she hit the Aunt Viv and then she went into labor was crazy. All right, can we just slow
I,
that down for a second?
hey,
Because
listen, I
because she was
I
getting
thought that it
down
was
on the
cute.
TikTok. She was getting down
She
on the
was.
TikTok then. She's like, I got this belly and all, you know. I ain't gonna front. Great job on the belly too, because it looked real. It didn't
Yeah.
slouch, it didn't move. I was like, all right, I got
It
you.
didn't
Go ahead.
it didn't slouch. It's crazy.
I'm saying we
Yeah.
seen some bad
No, I
bellies
mean,
before.
listen, we've seen a lot of bad things before. But yeah, I love that, Hill and Ashley are there with her. She goes into labor. And they're all coming back home. Phil is out with Jazz, and he's like, what you need? I got you, gets whatever is necessary. And they realize like Aunt Viv was not gonna make it to the monastery in order to have the baby. So she's gonna have to have an at-home birth. And we know that she's struggling with, you know, her mom not being present for this pregnancy, right? For this birth. One thing
Right.
that stood out to me, and I would love to get your guys' opinion as men, is that being a doula, first of all, a doula is a very spiritual and also like medical, but like very spiritual in terms of like giving birth. Like it's meant to really like transform the space in a way that you can bring a baby into the world in the calmest, most positive way, right? And you hear her mention like what's going, she's talking to Viv and she's like, what's going on with you, right? Like what is happening, the stress that you're holding, the weight that you're carrying. And then she goes over to Phil and she's like, yo, like whatever it is that you got going on over here, like you need to let that go because she needs you to be present. She needs you here. She cannot do this alone. He doesn't say much, right? He doesn't say anything at all, really. But you see his demeanor shift and change. What, when you heard her say those words, like how did that scene, I guess, transcend in a way? Like how does it feel, especially for you, Denny, as a dad? Like what was that like listening to that?
That's very loaded. You asked a lot.
I mean,
In that scene, how did I feel about it? To be honest, it was a bit over dramatic for me. Don't get me wrong.
mm,
Like, I feel like Phil should have had better composure. It's not your first child. Yes, it's your first home birth. This is the first time your wife, but the way that they represent their bond and their closeness, I feel like Phil should have been able to be more secure and be in her rock in that moment. I don't feel the outside lady, although with her experience and her heartwarming energy that made her feel comfortable, like her mom was there. It was great, but this is your partner. You chose to spend the rest of your life with this person. So why do I have to coach you on how to show up in this moment when you've already had 3 other children?
I'm gonna let Meech take that.
Personally, that's me. That's just me. Because
Mhm.
I, and me as a dad, like I've been there for both of my children's birth, and guess what? I was there every time to console the mother of my children. It was just that, like,
I don't think that that's what she was saying though. Like for her, it was the fact that her mom wasn't there and she wanted that. And I think the fact
right,
that Iris, who's the OG Aunt Viv, was there, she kind of, I don't want to like, she kind of stepped in a way.
right,
Like even though her mom wasn't there, she had that motherly figure in Iris where it's like, hey, I'm with you through this. Because I think you get something different from your partner. Like, of course, her husband is going to be there. Of course, I mean, I would hope that Uncle Phil would be there for all of the birth of his children, especially he's
right.
around. But the fact that her mom is gone, I think that was that moment of like, my mom is gone, but she's still here with me in the spirit. And I have a doula who's also kind of stepping in and doing the spiritual and the helping of bringing the baby in healthy.
Nah, I guess. Like the part I did like was see the whole I don't know, the Black Panther moment where like they crossed into the spiritual realm,
Oh my
and
The
then
God.
Black
like she
Panther
see
moment
her
is
mom. She said, "I'm
crazy.
here with you," and that was a beautiful Black Panther moment. I ain't gonna lie to you, I loved it. I
I
loved
cannot
it.
with him.
But
Black Panther.
I'm saying, yo,
Wild,
come on, am I bugging? Let me know.
wild.
Am I bugging? Did y'all not? What did y'all get when y'all seen that moment? Can we talk about that moment? What did y'all feel when y'all seen
Into
that?
Wakanda. I mean, well, so here's the thing. The reason why I asked was because there's a lot going on, right?
Mm-hmm,
They are fighting for Phil's life
mm-hmm.
still, but they're also having a baby. The two
Right,
kids, the two boys are going to college. There's a lot happening, and like in the
right,
span of 30 days between her. So for me, I'm just like Phil showed up, but he had to also recenter because he was worried about what was going on with Dom and Geoffrey, right? I think that it was beautiful, and I think that it most likely happens to a lot of people who have lost somebody near and dear and close to them when they're giving birth or they're having a really big life moment. If you tune in enough to the spiritual world, I mean, I feel like that is a strong possibility that you might not see the person. Everybody's
right,
spiritual capabilities are very different.
right,
Um, but I think that I love that they made it a point to, and then they really, I think the reason they did that is they needed to emphasize that just because somebody is gone doesn't mean they're not still present. Like their spirit is not, their energy is not still present. And I think that's just a nice ode in terms of our African culture. You know what I mean? Like we very much always honor our ancestors, and I think in this moment for this scene, that's what they were doing. They were just honoring
right.
Viv's mom as an ancestor.
I
So
get it. It was definitely giving
yeah,
piano lesson. Yeah, I get it.
nah, piano lesson is crazy. I'm not doing this with you. Moving on. So as we see the doctor, okay, strike number 2, because this doctor once, I mean, probably not the same doctor, but just strike 2 on the doctor's period, right? They said that the baby was a girl, a boy, but it's actually a girl, which happens all the time. So it's like not a big deal. But they named the baby after Viv's mom, which is Nicolette. And Will says, yeah, like baby Nikki. And so here we have what
Yeah.
everybody was waiting for and looking to see. I think that was a very smooth transition in terms of how the nickname was Baby Nikki. Mish, what were your thoughts like in that moment, knowing what you know about the Fresh Prince?
I I was not expecting her to come out as a girl. No, I love how they did the Nicolette, the paying homage to mom, Aunt Viv, and then it was seamless how Will was just saying like, yeah, we got baby Nikki, and it's like, oh shoot, okay, I see how y'all tied it in with the original. So yeah, I did appreciate that. I was definitely not expecting Nikki to be Nikki a girl.
Yeah, girl. What about you, Denny?
I was like, "Dag, Phil, you can't get a son, can you?"
Wow, that's crazy.
Yo, I'm sorry. It was a bad joke. But I was excited though. I was not expecting baby Nikki to be a girl. But being that baby Nikki is a girl, I'm like, I guess. Like I would have preferred them to keep Nikki as a boy.
God, dog,
I
just
would have.
can't
I
wait,
would have.
man,
I
bro.
would
Like,
have. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I would have just preferred it
Jesus.
because, like, in all right. I know it's not the original at all. Like, we moved past that. I've grown past that. However, the relationship
You sure?
between Ashley and Nikki in the original was dope. You
But you
know,
also know that
but
this is the finale season, so we're not even
finale.
going to
So
see
we're
a
not even gonna
relationship
get that. So
between
I'm just
Ashley
saying,
and
like, it just, I'm just saying now it's like just the imagination to keep going. Like now you moving to Baldwin Hills with your little brat sister. Like, come on. I guess.
All
Actually,
right.
how do we feel about that though? Baldwin Hills.
So I don't know if they're going to Baldwin Hills. I know they're going to West Adams.
What's
So,
that?
which is it's actually a well-known like black,
Black
more
community.
so, yeah, black community in Cali. I mean, again, we're talking about like the ending and how we didn't see it coming. And no, I didn't see
No,
that at all. But
didn't
I
see none
think
of that coming.
that the point, what I got, and I know we're skipping ahead, so we'll go back and talk some more about some of the other big points. But for me, what I got was starting over or going into that next chapter. You gotta, what they say, one of those famous quotes is like, do it scared, right? Like, it's gonna come a time where you're going to have to like make a change. And we know that the change is predominantly off of the fact that the boys are going to college. Hilary said she was going to back to, where was she again?
Costa Rica.
Costa
Costa
Rica.
Rica. And Ashley wants to go to the new school that's more diverse and allows for a different kind of opportunity. So them starting over is not necessarily a shock, but it is still a shock. And I think that it shows you that at any stage, right? At any stage, at any age, you can always start over. You can choose a different path. And so I mean, I was super cool um about that. So
Yeah, and I feel like Nikki was also a fresh start for them, where they're like, okay, we have only two kids who are going to be in the house, and Ashley is well on her way to being out of the house. So let's have
mhm.
a fresh start with this new baby.
Yeah. And also I think that they have gotten bit in their ass putting two kids in Bel-Air Academy. So there's that. Right. So time for a change for sure. Um let's go into the portrait because we also have that flashback, another ode to, shout out to Tyra Banks, right?
Mhm.
Who comes back as Regina, as Aunt Viv's sorority sister. What did you think about that interaction, Meech? Like, because we know that in the original, right, obviously Tyra is Will's girlfriend, so they couldn't like use
Yeah.
that storyline here. But like, what did you feel like seeing Tyra show up in this scene like in this way?
I honestly thought that Regina was gonna be OG Aunt Viv. So when I saw Tyra, I that actually threw me for a loop where it's like, okay, they brought her back and they brought her back in this role, and she's definitely like far from her girlfriend role that she had in the original. And then seeing them paying homage to that too with the little back and forth that they had with Aunt Viv, I love that. So yeah, I definitely
Yeah,
I was all for it.
I thought that
Yeah.
was dope. Yeah, Danny,
Mhm.
what did you think about the dialogue in terms of, she was like, I don't do the I don't do tea.
That right there was funny. She was like, she was trying to showcase a softer side. I'm like, I don't have a softer side. I was like, I love that. And also to the scene that y'all just spoke about, I was able to speak to one of the writers, and she said Tyra actually came up with that herself and asked the writers to put that in there, and they were able to throw it in there last minute. So that was like an impromptu thing that they added. So that was
Oh,
pretty
that's
dope.
nice. Yeah, that's
Shout out to the
definitely dope.
writers.
Yeah, shout out to the
For
writers for bringing
sure.
that to life. Shout out to Tyra for bringing it up. Anyway, for them to bring it on their radar, so that was dope. Uh,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think she did a great job as Regina, though. I feel like
I do.
great
Hmm.
job. Like she gave the energy that she was supposed to. Like it was like diva, big sister energy. Like who else to be the diva than the diva herself? Tyra Banks. Like come
Yeah.
on.
Listen, for sure. I agree with that. So we're gonna just keep going and rolling. I want to talk about this scene with Aunt Vi and Will, right, on the phone. And as he's trying to share with her that he does not want to go to whatever that school was. And she's like, well, you don't have any other prospects, you're late in the game, you haven't applied anywhere else, like, what are you doing, you're gonna, XYZ. um have you, either of you, experienced anything like that, and how did you feel watching that scene? I'll start with you, Meech.
Yeah, I've had many experiences like that, honestly. Being that I grew up in a Caribbean household, like I feel like you have to show them before it is that they can believe in things that it is that you want to do. So a lot of times for me, with my parents, specifically my dad, I'll tell him like, hey, this is what it is that I'm gonna do. And I've noticed where you have to show people, like you have to
Mm.
do it. And yeah, so I think that was something where I kind of felt that same kind of feeling from that. So yeah, I'd say that was an example for me
Denny,
at least.
yeah, got you. Denny, what about, like, were you shocked at Aunt Vi's like response and reaction? Do you think that, were you thinking that Will was gonna respond differently than how he did?
About the whole like college thing,
Yeah.
it really shook me because I didn't think she would be as stereotypical in a response that she gave. Like if that was Lou giving that, I would have felt like okay, that's understandable. But for
Mm,
his mom to be the one who sent you there to do better, and then so I'm like, yo, don't mess up this opportunity. Like, yo, chill.
mm-hmm.
Like it was very abrasive. I didn't like that because it was given like, do you not believe in your kid, or do you feel like this is the only option? Like, you really that down and bad that you don't think he could get financial aid at another college? Like, I don't know. Like, what's up? Why y'all so gun ho
Mm-hmm.
on them not paying for the school anyway if y'all not gonna do anything to help him get in? You know, you're not even
Good point.
listening to what he want. Then you
Right.
talking about just go for this. Like what? Now your
Yeah.
son taken advantage of.
Right.
Now
Mm-hmm.
he's not in the NBA. He got injured his first year in college, and has nothing to lean back on because the school pulled his scholarship because he's not playing basketball. Now
Right.
he's back home on your couch in Philly.
Not on the couch. I definitely agree with you. Mad abrasive, did not like it at all. And like he even says, further on in these 3 episodes, she said something like, I always believed in you. And he's like, well, did you? Because it didn't feel that way when you hung up the phone on me, and one thing that I think for sure that scene shows is parents gotta chill, like you said, like they like they gotta chill. That's mad crazy for me. And I hate using the term, right? But and I'll try to soften it. I don't know if it really softens, but I'm like, sometimes parents are dream snatchers, like literally the worst people who, because they're so busy trying to think of the things that you, quote unquote, may not have thought of, right? Because you don't know what I thought of if you didn't have a conversation with me. And so
Mm,
there was no real conversation with Will about why he wanted to do what he was doing. And even though he explained it and he's like, yo, like they don't want me to be a business major. They want me basketball first. And if I have time to study, which was crazy to me, but we know it happens. So I think that her hanging up the phone on him was disrespectful. I know people will be like, "Oh my God, parents can't." No, no, no. Parents can disrespect their kids, and it was
right,
disrespectful and totally uncalled for because this is a life decision that he has to make, right? And I think that
Right.
that's what parents are not understanding between the two of them, Will and Carlton. Carlton saying like, well, I thought you wanted me to go to Princeton and I could suck it up and go, you know. And then his dad having to say like, yo, like, no, this is your life. And
Right.
whatever you decide to do, I would support that. And I think that was just such a big moment in these 3 episodes, because we know for sure there are kids out there probably going through it at this very moment and can totally relate. So I love that they always have thrown bits and pieces of things that kids are actually going through and can relate to, like in this very moment. So I was really happy about that. So I think that we're
Can
just
we
gonna
get
stick with the high
messy?
school.
Can we get messy?
Go ahead.
Can we talk about Will and Lisa?
I was getting there. So I was gonna say sticking to high school, right? I don't know about y'all, but what is the smash night? I totally oblivious.
Crazy. Never heard of that in my life.
Never have I ever. Is that rich people shit? Like,
gotta be.
Listen, Smash Night.
Smash Night is crazy.
Hosted at the school. Hosted at the school.
Nah.
Hosted at the school.
This sound like
walking down the hall.
This sound like Temptation Island for high school kids. Like, what is this?
That's what she said though, right? She was like, it's our version of Temptation Island or some shit like that. All right, so I gotta ask, right? You dating your girl, y'all been dating for 4 years. You signing up for Smash Island meets?
Never in the history of ever. No.
You're not baiting me into testing the connection. That's the dumbest thing ever.
I don't need to do that to test my connection. I'm okay.
Yo. First of all, here's what I didn't like. I'm gonna tell you what I didn't like. Oh, Amira and Carlton, right? Well, I mean, you know, that's why we're signing up, because we're testing. And then get in there.
And
Amira's up first and chose nah, bro. Diabolical.
Because she's smart.
Diabolical.
Hey.
What?
Hey. Mm-hmm. Hey. She got in there and got out of there. They should have let her go first.
But here's the thing, though. Like, it was a setup, because instantly Big Tata Tidra, right? Titty Tidra, whatever we call it. Right. She over there and she eyeballing Will, right? Because we see that Amira and Carlton wins the couple of senior year or whatever, and Will wins the award for he's gonna do the senior speech and whatnot. But like, I was so confused, because Amira was the girl who got to choose, and Carlton and a couple of guys were lined up, and then they pulled the bucket out the hat, and Kareem chooses Lisa. First of all,
that's how it all started.
I knew
Carlton and Amira's fault. Stop trying to find a way to get Amira.
I didn't say it was their fault. I was just saying that they was messy boots, because they plotted. They put the little. They didn't plot, but they put that seed. You know, like, yeah, we got this. Like, first of all, I'm not never. Listen,
big titty shorty did.
No, I'm not doing this with you. No, Hilary and Jazz put the seed. Honestly, if we're gonna talk about seed planting, right? Because they was too busy googly eye looking at each other and not thinking about who they was talking to. Okay. What I'm gonna just dive in, right? Because like, Meech, did we think that Will had sex with Tata Tidra?
No, I didn't think that he would have. No, that's not. I've just felt like that would have been so off for Will to do that. No, I actually, even on the flip side of it, when Lisa was back there with Kareem, I was shocked by that. I was not expecting them to kiss.
Yeah,
because he knew some swim stats.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I felt so bad for Will, because it's like, dang, is your girl that easy?
She folded off swim stats, bro.
She folded off of swim sets, and also like it's a time to explore, like Hilary said.
He
So
tried to trauma bonded with her. Said, "I seen you hug
trauma
your mom."
bonded.
He said, "I seen you
What?
hug your mom."
Bro, we're not gonna skip over and act like he didn't memorize when she won the swim meet, the
She
first two
came in
swim meets that
second
she
place.
came in.
He
No,
was
no, no, no. He
there.
said, listen, he said the 2 times you came in first, and then that third time you came in second. He gave the stats before he mentioned her mom, and then went in for the kiss. But we're not gonna act like he just went
So
in.
are we condoning the kiss?
Hey, listen, I'm
Absolutely
not
not.
condoning. I'm just stating facts.
It was
Okay.
too easy for Kareem. It was
Yo,
too easy.
The Riz got her. The Riz got her. He knew
Listen.
exactly what to say.
And
Swim
he
stats and trauma bond. Boom, you get the kiss.
didn't he win an award for something too? Best
Most
Riz or whatever.
Riz, yes.
And you just come on.
Come on.
Hey, listen. I'm not saying this right. I'm just stating the fact.
Broke her
I'm
down.
just stating the fact. But yeah, it was trash. I didn't see Will lying though. That was like
Will was
yes,
so
I saw,
hurt.
but I didn't. Yeah,
He was
yeah,
so
yeah, I
hurt that
know.
he had to be like, "Oh yeah, you know, we this thing." That man knew that they just sat up in there and did not one thing. And he didn't want to tell her because his ego was so hurt. He was so hurt by that, where it's like, dang, you kissed this dude? Like you were back there. I didn't do nothing and you kissed this dude.
Like I had these
hey,
big ass titties in my face, and you gonna do
I'm
that?
not doing
Bruh,
this.
she was going. She was going.
She needed to sit her little hot ass.
Just
down.
wait till they get to you win. Just wait.
No, nah, I don't think that. I still don't think.
Will would have had a great. She was Shawnee Easton from Love and Basketball. I'm
not doing this. I'm definitely not. Yo, you gotta quit it with these analogies. You're wild.
That was good though. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Going.
She was
ready. Right?
She was ready.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing
this. She's not saying you're a nice guy and I want to get to know you. She's saying I want to bone. Hey, listen. Hey man.
All right, moving on from
all I'm saying
hot
is
top teacher.
He didn't do nothing. She got on him. She straddled him, threw him in her face, rubbed his head, caressed him, and he said, "I can't do this."
Still stood strong.
I can't do this. He was Ray Charles to it. Stevie Wonder.
No.
Kareem
all right.
And she want to be
out of here.
Lips. Come on.
Kareem knew you could swim good. You won twice and came in second one time. I seen it.
I seen it.
You know what? This is a great podcast right here. YouTube, y'all just this moment right here. Said she was too easy. That's a whole line right there.
Am I wrong though? Am I wrong?
I mean, I ain't. Listen,
if your man folded because a woman knew he ran a good number and track a good time,
come on,
and hugged his mom after.
Listen, I'm not saying that it's not easy. I didn't disagree. I'm just stating the facts. That's all. That's all I was doing. We going. So yeah, they have their moment, and now they're not talking to each other. But let's be honest though, like you 4 years in, right? Mm-hmm. Are you doing the long distance thing, Denny?
Personally, no.
This guy.
I don't believe in long distance relationships. I'm sorry. I'm grown.
Moving on. Me. You doing long distance?
Are you asking me as
a high school? I'm asking
then?
You as a senior. I'm asking you as a high school.
Oh,
senior.
I'm not gonna lie to you. At that time when I was a senior, I definitely had a girlfriend, and I definitely was telling her like, "We gonna make it work." And I got to school and things went different.
And all the teachers showed up and straddled you, and you got beside yourself, huh?
I just realized it was harder than I thought it was. I'll say it like that.
Hey, I'm a realist.
I tried. At least I tried.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm like, yo, DC, Philly ain't nothing. Like, I drive to Philly, and that's a bop. You feel me? Like, they got cars, because let's not forget, Will has a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm not saying that they should. I feel like you should absolutely
She's going to Howard. She folded off of swim stats.
Yo, we done with
It's
that.
over for her.
We done with that. We done.
She gonna meet
We off
some
that.
upperclassmen. Yeah.
Hey, listen, Howard is a great school.
Wonderful school.
Wonderful.
I'm gonna just leave it there. UPenn, never been, don't know much about it, but I'm pretty sure that we'll have some very interesting encounters, right? And also just want to shout out that he's going to an Ivy and Carlton is going to Morehouse. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but of course, being who they are, they thought that the roles would have been reversed. And so I definitely think that there's nothing wrong with trying, though. Like you said, Mish. Like I'm a high schooler, you
They
deep
could've made
in
it work.
love. I would have tried. I would have given it that good old, and
People say they
if a Kareem would have came at me out, I mean,
hold on. Look, it says Will and Lisa not that far from each other. They couldn't make it work, right? They could have, right? But you got to think about college, bro. Like you got schoolwork, campus parties, campus women, and you playing D1 basketball. So you're also traveling. You're not just your time isn't your time.
Yeah.
Your time isn't your time when you playing D1 basketball.
Gym. Yeah, yep. Workout.
Did we forget that part? And Lisa will probably run a track.
That's true,
or swimming, not running track, but swimming. I mean, she gonna be swimming.
Yeah, she got a full ride to swim out there. Facts.
Come on.
Yeah.
They time ain't their time.
Hey, listen, I'm not saying that it ain't or that it is. I'm saying that I'm okay with them having given it a shot, right?
So
because
before we even move past it, I have a question though.
No, go ahead.
Why is it that you think that Will and Lisa didn't have a happy ending, but Carlton and Amira did? And they kind of flipped it on us because I didn't expect that. I did not.
I don't know if they got a happy ending. I don't know if they got a happy ending, but I think that they what I'm not gonna lie, even though Kareem was a total asshole, right? He really made a point. They did overcome demons, right? So when you really gotta overcome something and decide to stick with that person, that's completely different ball game than we've had some slight ups and downs that are normal to the regular relationship where you're doing some dumbness and you saying something slick out your mouth or you're not communicating, right? That's like normal relationship stuff. Beating an addiction, it's that.
Come on,
in high school,
they might as well be married. That's why they were about to.
Listen.
That's why they tried to go to the chapel and get hitched. And I'm in here like, bruh, you ain't got a prenup.
No, seriously.
All right.
They said if we could go through.
Take your time on the mirror. Talk about
I said what I said.
That woman loves him.
Everybody should.
She loves him.
I'm not saying that she don't.
Yeah, she loves him.
She does. And vice versa. But yeah, I don't necessarily think that they did get a happy ending, but I don't know if I feel like it's more of a choosing their ending. Does that make sense? Like you could decide, like they both going to school in Georgia. They could easily be like, you know what?
That's a lot.
It's still college. And I want to, no, I'm not saying it's not, but what I'm saying is it's still like, I got my pick of the litter. I could go and explore and figure out and live life and experience and all these other things, but they're choosing.
He's going to an all-male campus.
Spelman's across the street.
Spelman is across the street, bro.
Yeah. That doesn't matter.
Hey.
And they be taking classes on Morehouse campus too.
Yeah, they do.
Facts. Yeah. So like, it's not. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. Okay.
Clark Atlanta is down the street too.
Well, he's a Carlton, so I don't think we have to worry about that.
I mean, hey, listen, the Carltonesses, right? The female version of Carlton is gonna love all of that, and then it'll be just fine. So But I think they chose, they
Nah.
chose, and I don't think that Will and Lisa chose. I think that, like you said, like both of them, mainly Lisa, whatever was said, you know, got in her head, and we see that Lisa can be easily.
She's impressionable.
There we go. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for, right? She's impressionable, and so, um, and possibly too, I'll cut her a slight slack because I'll say that there are
Why?
some things, because there's some things that only a mom can teach you, right? And there's some things that she just didn't get. Those conversations about boys, they're differently from your father than your mother. We're not gonna
I
act like
get
they're the
that.
same. They're not.
Yeah.
So while she's still impressionable and she has a lot to learn in terms of like standing her ground and her boundary or whatever it is, there's still things that she has yet to really experience and explore, and she's gonna figure that out on her own as she goes. So I mean, shout out to Amira and Carlton. Like I said, I think that when you go through something that's not the normal of going through something in life, yeah, it's for relationships, then yeah, I'm not surprised. But thank God for divine intervention. They didn't get married, and you know, love their scene showing up at the beach with the food.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. The mirror's always been clutch. Always been clutch. Okay.
I do believe that was staged though.
Very much
Just
so. I think
yeah,
Carlton
that was
still
staged.
invited them. That's
It
what
wasn't
Yeah,
staged.
it
was
was staged.
definitely. It was
I
definitely.
think Carlton.
But
I
Will
think
forgot
Carlton
the
told
food
Will that
to
they
get the
weren't going to be
food.
there,
No,
and
no,
still
them
invited them.
coming was definitely staged. Them coming was
Staged.
staged.
Yeah.
But Will forgetting the food was not staged.
No, it was staged. What did Will say? Will said you said you was gonna get the food. Carlton intentionally left the food because Amira
They're
and Lisa
coming.
had to show up. So they show up empty-handed. It's a lot easier to be like, well, y'all can just scram, but y'all showing up with the one thing that we absolutely
You know
need, and
me.
Uber
All
is an
right.
hour away. Yeah, nah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's a fact.
absolutely.
It was getting
So
naked in the tent.
I'm not moving on. So of course, like we said, we had the moment. On Viv had the baby. Jazz showed up. Hilary, you know, asked him to stay. They have a moment where she apologizes and whatnot. And then Ashley's like, yo, y'all should team up and make some infused goodies. You know, shout out to Ashley. Everybody loves something good infused for sure, the facts. This interaction between Jazz and Hilary apologizing, would you accept the apology, Meech?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Says
what?
Coco Jones. I mean,
What?
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 I meant,
I'm about to say, do you see her?
Yes.
Hello.
you know what? Y'all so easy to please. All right. Okay.
What? All right, come on.
I mean,
Come home. Come
Come
home.
Are
nah, come home is crazy.
Of
Come here.
Yeah.
Come here. Like, what do you mean? Hold on. What Tone say in the back? Look, I know Tone said something.
Oh
No
my gosh,
brainer.
no
Tone said
brainer.
no brainer.
No
Yeah.
brainer.
Edible entanglements was definitely crazy though.
No, it was it's a fire name. I would
It
definitely
is.
pull up at the shop. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
First of all.
definitely pulling up at the shop. What?
First of all, it's a no-brainer to take her back.
All right. But nah,
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. I love that moment with them for sure. We don't know where it's gonna go, but we see that they have their moment, you know, and that they actually do decide to team up. And then Hill drops the bomb and she's like, this is gonna be my last batch because you know I'm going back to Costa Rica. And then she decides not to go, right? Because she's talking to baby Nikki, and Ash is like, you know, she can't talk back, right? And then, you know, all of what we're thinking, me personally, when, you know, she says, I liked you better when you wasn't talking, because when you started talking, you got a little sassy. And that is a fact, okay? Between siblings and god kids, sass is on the menu. All right. So like just go back to the Google Gaga where you can just not tell me what you want at this point. But she decides to stay and she opens up a shop directly across the street from Jazz, which I thought was really cool. Did we want to see them get back together? I know a lot of people did, but
yeah,
wouldn't it have been too soon? Or do you think we should have seen that in the finale? Denny.
LaMarcus died for a reason.
yo,
Get your man.
yo,
saying, man.
Get your man.
He died
Get
for a reason,
your
man.
man.
He cleared the way. He said, "That's my blessing, bro. Make it
Oh
happen."
my god.
I'm just saying, bro.
Get
They
your
should have made it
man.
happen.
Okay.
But she moved across the
Get your
street,
man.
and he called her like, "Hey, boo." So they gonna work it out. They working it out.
Mm-hmm.
Nah,
But I'm not gonna lie. They should have made it officially together. He should have got on one knee or something.
No, one knee is crazy.
He should have met at the airport. You know, they was doing movie scenes. They went to Black Panther and all that. They could have.
I'm not
Love
doing
Jones
this.
too.
I'm not
Hilary!
doing this.
Hilary! I'm just saying, man. Like they could have made it happen.
They could have, but I do think that the simple ending was definitely good
Hilary doesn't
because
die for a reason. That's hilarious.
you know, because you get to have that moment for sure. So I like that because we don't know, but then we do know that there's a new beginning. We do know that there's a new beginning. Hilary has honeybees and Jazz across the street, and of course, you know, thriving as all get out. So the best is yet to come for them for sure. Let's definitely talk about Ash, right? Because through these last 3 episodes, Ash has really showed up. She has stood up for Eli because he came to school wearing a skirt. And well, let me rephrase. They came to school wearing a skirt. And
no, he said he's a heathen.
oh, okay. Okay. Just make sure.
You're right.
Or he them.
And
Yeah.
he them, right.
He
So listen, because I don't want no smoke. But yeah, she stands up, comes, rips up her uniform, this and the third, shows up in detention to support. Not only that though, her speech in terms of being inspired by James Baldwin letter to a nephew. She wrote a letter to her baby sister, to baby Nikki. And one of the things that she said that stood out to me was that I'm one of the few Black faces here at Bel-Air. I'm on the brochure. They'll use my picture, but they'll crop out my story. Mm-hmm. The entire speech was just fire. But what were your feelings in terms of how she's grown as a character through the entire series? That speech that she gave, like, what did you think about it? I'll go to you, Meech.
I feel like you truly saw her growth. I feel like Ashley was always the character that we knew to wake things up. But I also feel like she did it in a way where it's like, no, you're no longer the kid Ashley that we saw season 1. Now at the end of it, you're referencing James Baldwin. You're writing a letter to your baby sister that isn't going to read this for however long, and really touching some deep points that's so true for a lot of Black kids who go to schools where it's predominantly white, or maybe they're in programs where it's AP classes and you don't have a lot of people that look like you that's in those classes. So I feel like we really got to see her mature and see how she advocates for everyone, it feels like. Yeah.
No, facts. She really does show up and advocate for everybody. Denny, different question. Did you see her wanting to go to another school? Like, was that something that you foresaw, or was that something that shocked you?
Her wanting to is definitely in alignment with who she is, but to think that she would actually request to go to another school, I didn't see that coming. It was definitely a shock value there. And the school that she chose to go to also was like in alignment with who she is as a character. So like in that regard, I wasn't shocked as far as the school once it was announced, but the announcement of switching schools was definitely, because I thought she would be like taking on the challenge of Bel-Air Academy versus saying, you know what, wash my hands with these people because y'all just not getting it.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I support that 1,000% because I feel like there's a lot of things that we as Black people take on and we want to like fix, and sometimes you gotta just wash your hands of it. Um, and it's so much for her. Like we said, she's grown so much throughout these past 4 seasons as somebody who was shy, didn't really talk as much, or had thoughts but didn't really share them. And so now she has no problem picking up a mic and she has no problem showing up, even jumping in. Like I think maybe season 1 or 2 when they got the banner, right? And they put it over the school building, right? And they all got in trouble for that. So just even her being excited and wanting to know, like, why are you doing these things, and what does it mean? And now seeing that come full circle, where she's almost like she is also the activist now, if that makes sense, right? She's activist. So it was good to see. It was good to see that. Definitely happy for her to go someplace where she is not the minority and that she can build community. It's nothing worse than being in a place where you don't feel like you can build community. And I'm just happy that she's getting that opportunity. So that's pretty dope. Last but not least, let's talk about Will's surprise farewell party. And how, in this last episode, he's packing, he's having these moments where he's really just thinking about his entire last 4 years in Bel-Air. He's got accepted to UPenn, so he's going back home. Like he said, full circle moment. And the biggest thing is that we see him as they're getting ready to toast to him. We see him walk away.
You good?
No, I'm fine. What I know, Denny, you had some thoughts about that.
About
him walking away. You thought he was dramatic.
All right. I thought he was very dramatic in that moment. And I feel like, yes, in teenage fashion, I guess that would be a teenage response. However, when people are there celebrating you, accept the celebration. Like, you're going back home, you're about to be closer to your mom, you're going to play D1 basketball, and like, you have a lot to be grateful for. And I feel like the things he was concerned about, like holding on to this him that he has now become when he go back to Philly. But I'm like, you're not going to be in the same environment. The doors that you've opened here has opened doors for you elsewhere too, and you're going to have to just get there to see it. You know what I mean? So I think he was still operating out of a sense of fear, which we see him do numerous times throughout each season. It's like, so when is he going to stop like running away? Because that's what I think that represented. Like, he's still running low key. Like, I think it had a deeper like meaning there, more than what just taking it as like a high schooler. Everyone else at some point has had to face themselves, face their fears. Even Carlton, I give him his credit, because he, after having that conversation with Uncle Phil, like the fear of everything lifted off his shoulders. After having the conversation with Uncle Phil with Will, like, he's still fearful of what? And that's why I feel like he was still being bratish.
What about you, Meech?
Well, I completely disagree, if I'm being honest with you. I think that Will is dramatic, so this is him. Like, this is who his character is. So I'm not surprised that he had this moment of feeling like, oh, I need to get away, and all of like facing everything. Because you're thinking about this as a grown man. You got to think about it from the standpoint as a high schooler that's 18 years old. Okay. I'm about to move back to Philly, where I have all my friends. I have my old stomping ground. Like, you don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like. Here, I made a way for myself here in Bel-Air. I got used to being out here. I got used to moving out here. Now I'm going into a whole new environment, but it's not really new because it's home for me, but I'm about to be going to school at home. A lot of people, like, I feel like he's thinking about, man, I hope I don't fuck up. Like, I hope I don't go home and like get caught up in that life potentially again.
Mm-hmm. So for me, this scene held a lot of weight, and the reason why is because a couple things that I'll mention. Where was Lou for graduation? Right. So like they don't really mention that, but no, but he's not present at graduation. Like that's what I'm saying. He's not at graduation, right? They don't necessarily mention that, but it's still something to notice. Like he's not there. Another thing for me is that like Will is not being bratish in terms of like I could see if he was just like, yeah, no, I don't want to be bothered, or like he quietly walked away, and like me said, like it wasn't loud. He just was walking away. he was walking away while people were getting ready to toast, but he still quietly just was trying to sneak out.
Walking away while somebody's toasting you is not loud.
All right, fine. So it was a loud walk away, but it doesn't take away from the fact that somebody who is accustomed to not having, who is now in a place of having and has accomplished so much that they didn't think that they could accomplish 4 years ago, is a lot to soak in. Leaving a place that you called home for 4 years, and now you're branching out, going back into space, like me said, that potentially here's the thing. It's real easy when you get taken out of said environment and you turn into somebody new. It's hard is going back to said environment with the knowledge that you've learned and reminding yourself and remembering, oh, let me not revert to that. Let me use what I've now gained and learned. So as an 18-year-old who was processing, I'm going back where my old friends are and back where people might, try to convince me to do X, Y, Z. That's something to be thoughtful of. But also when you're not, let's be real, right? Like, even though he was being celebrated by one, right? Which is mom. Not shading. I'm just saying he would be celebrated by mom. But we also see the flip side, which is the mom who was like, why you just ain't take that scholarship? You ain't applied nowhere else. You ain't got nothing else to be banking on. So there are a lot of different things to consider when you're going to a new space, but you're going back to an old space, right? So for me, it was like he's taking it in, and as he said, this is the biggest goodbye I've ever had to do. That means something. You don't take that lightly. So however his feelings are, and again, at 18, I don't know how I would have processed that, right? So while I look at it and I'm thinking he could have handled that better, yes, but that comes with life experience. That comes with really understanding and being able to handle your emotions as an 18-year-old. You don't know how to do those things, right? And so I think that we see that moment where it's weighing on him. He didn't expect to leave so soon. The only reason why he's leaving so soon is because he got into the summer business program, right? So there are a lot of different things that factor into this moment where he just wants to kind of like be done. And again, not saying he couldn't handle it better, but big goodbyes are hard for a lot. I know a lot of people who, even as adults, still struggle with big goodbyes. So it's just about like learning how to navigate those spaces. And I think that, I think that's the takeaway. I feel like for a kid who's getting ready to go to college, whatever their situation might be, I think the takeaway is like, and Will Smith, right? He makes his grandiose appearance as the older version of Will, and he's just telling him like, enjoy the ride, right? Like, don't rush, take your time, and like, just to give you a heads up, like we're gonna be all right. And I think that is the perfect way to end the series, is that a lot of people, even as adults, trust the process, right? Like it's gonna be bumpy along the way, but like trust the process. What did
Yeah.
you think about, Will's speech to Will Meech?
I feel like it was the best way to wrap up the series. I was hoping that we were going to see him, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was the best way to bring him in. It actually reminded me of this commercial with LeBron where it's older LeBron talking to himself as 18-year-old LeBron before it is that he's going to the league. And it felt like that, where it's a kind of a full circle moment of, hey, you don't know how you're gonna get to this point because I'm older you talking, this future you talking to younger you, but just know we're gonna be more than good.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace the journey is what it felt like, is what he was
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think about the final scene, Denny, or the pre-final scene in terms of Jazz, Carlton, and Will standing overlooking Callie?
Uh, I liked it. It's like how it all started, you know. Well, minus Carlton. Well, plus
Mm-hmm.
Carlton.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So like when Jazz pulled them over to the side, like, look at this, man. You are now in the place with the most beautiful women, sunshine. You know. And it's like, don't forget, you know. I like it. It was a good full circle moment. I think it was a lot of full circle moments in this episode.
Anything that particularly stands out to you that you want to mention before we wrap?
In that scene or just in
No,
general?
just overall.
Hmm. I would say the thing that really stood out to me was Carlton go back. Excuse me. My bad. But Carlton going back to Philly with Will. That stood out to me.
Mm,
Like I thought that was dope. Like, you know what? You gotta go back early, but I still got time. So I'm gonna come there and mess up this shit. I was like, you know what? I like that. It was a good
yeah.
banter, a good way for it. So I like that. That really stood out. It was like, you know what? Even though we're about to be apart, we can still do something for the summer. So fuck with
Agree. What about you, Meech?
I'm just wondering if we're gonna see any more of the cast, if we're gonna see like a spinoff, if we're gonna see more, because maybe this part of Bel Air is done, but is there gonna be more? That's what I'm thinking. Like, where is this
Mm,
really it, or is there gonna be something more in the Bel Air universe?
it.
yeah.
I
We
guess we
never
gotta
know.
keep our
You
ear to the
know.
ground at this point.
Yeah, facts. Never know. I do think that there were just so many different gems. Black maternity, grief,
Yeah.
evolution between figuring out who you are sexually, relationships, overcoming addiction, tested friendships, in the adult way because Uncle Phil and Geoffrey's friendships was tested, so
Viv,
many different gems.
Yeah.
Viv, forgiveness, a lot of different things that just I think we all know as adults, you constantly deal with, no matter how old you are. One thing I will say is that sometimes shows like this always give me nostalgia. There are moments where I have to look at it and I'm like, dang, I kind of wish I experienced this or I experienced that. Um, and your life is your life for a reason, right? You get to have the conversation that you get to have because of the experience that you have had. And so I really love overall shout outs, like I said, to the cast, an amazing, and the fact that this came from a trailer, and I forget his name, but the fact that he created a trailer and put it on YouTube and it got so many hits and it went viral that Will Smith himself was like, yo, let's do this. To see it now 4 seasons later, crazy, crazy. And so I think that for me, what I'll say lastly is that do that shit afraid. Like you never know what the opportunity is on the other side of fear. And then, like they always say, right, what you want the most is literally on the opposite side of being comfortable. So get comfortable being uncomfortable, basically. So yeah, shout out to the producers, to the writers for another hit on Peacock. Absolutely cannot wait for whatever is next and whatever is in store for our trio here that you see. I want to say thank you to Meech for joining the squad, and of course,
Yes.
Denny C, been rocking for a while, so we are excited. So please, please, please make sure you comment, like, subscribe. The Culture Collective, powered by Big Go Bell Media. We will be back, y'all. Keep your ear to the ground. You never know what we'll be doing next. Check out the interviews. Check out the other reviews that we've done. And until next time,
Peace.
Peace.